Hi everyone, welcome back. And here we are, possibly on the brink of Mueller releasing the report. Okay, so I thought it was timely to take some deep breaths, revisit what we know, and have a look at what may well happen, right? So what do we know? We've got to remind ourselves Mueller is an investigator, not a prosecutor. So his job is to find out and follow the evidence where it lay. We know already consistently he's been divesting branches of this out to relevant bodies for prosecution. What else do we know? We know that it will cause a potential shitstorm. Sorry, viewers, for the language. I try and control my swearing as much as I can on this channel. Not easy for an Australian. Swearing is just talking in Australia, but there's no other word for it. Okay. But the thing is where the GOP sit on this. This is a critical juncture in American history. Will they, at least the majority of them, accept that there are big problems with this presidency, admit it, do something about it? Or, like they've been doing recently, where they fell into line behind the Mad King and they were moaning before the national emergency and then came out and supported him. Are they going to white ant or undermine the Department of Justice and this process? So that's what I want to look at today, the GOP response to the Mueller report. I confess, viewers, I'm a trifle anxious about this. They have been so spineless. It's a real worry. They're just kowtowing to the lowest common denominator and just protecting their own lily-livered little sort of jobs in their states and kowtowing to the MAGA hat brigade. Oh, God, you know. Please be wrong, Lena, please be wrong. They're going to stand up as one, unified, and stand up for America and American values. Why am I not feeling it? So this is the biggest concern. How are the GOP going to handle this? Because we've got to remember and remind ourselves very calmly, the release of the report is not the end, it's the beginning of what will be several years of very juicy trials and engagements. I think we'll be bonded here for a while. Yeah. We know also Trump's not going to willingly give up. He hates being president, he hates the restrictions of it, but he's not going to go willingly because he knows the second his toenail is out the door, he's going to be in the dock. So he's not going to go willingly. So it all comes down to the GOP. What is going to happen with the GOP and the release of the Mueller report? All right. So, oops. Cards. All right, let's see what we've got so far here. Working on the details, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. They're working on it now as we speak. How are they going to handle it? They're hammering out, literally, they're hammering out their position on this. Behind them is the card of waiting for your ship to come in, commerce and trade over the water, but it's also, you could say, in this case, waiting for the bomb to drop. We have the Queen of Swords. Muller often turns up for me as the King of Swords, Queen of Swords. This is emblematic of justice. I don't think it's literally a person in this case. Underlying this is all the judicial information and evidence that Muller has collected, being brought together. On top of them, at this point, I'm going to expand this reading, the Queen of Cups. This is their gulp card. This is their emotional card. Now, often I call this the Princess Di card. It really actually looks like her, doesn't it? This is the only cups, reminding you who are learning tarot, the only cups with the lid on. They're desperately trying to control their emotions. Are they worried? Yes, they are, and they should be. All right. So, let's see how we go now. What's the biggest challenge for the GOP as they see it? From the perspective of the GOP now, don't really want to get inside their heads. What do they see as their greatest challenge? Oh, preserving the party, holding the party together. This has always been my GOP card. Happy families, presenting a happy front to the world, the Anglo mom and dad and the 2.5 children, and everything's fine. Presenting a happy face to the world. That is their biggest concern. You will notice, viewers, their biggest concern is not justice. It's keeping their image intact, literally. That's what this card is about, keeping their image intact. Okay. So, okay now, what's their most likely course of action? Their course of action on the release of the Muller report. What are they actually going to do? Oops, what fell out? Oh, the Tower. They're going to try and, one of two things. They're either going to try and stop the lightning bolt hitting the Tower. I don't know how quite they're going to do that. Or they're going to leap from the Tower. Now, before I go any further, I just need to remind you how tarot works. Because tarot is not exact about times, it's talking about the landscape and the backstory and what's likely to happen. So this could be straight away or it could be further out. This stage, it's like it's going to happen in stages. This stage might last for 2 months or 4 months or something until there's some more court cases. I don't want to put an exact time on it. But just because you get that card and that card, it doesn't mean if he releases the report on Friday, because he's like to think that by Monday they'll be leaping out of the Tower. So it's important to keep that in mind. What it's saying is this is what's going to happen at some point. Okay. So, are they unified? They're good at presenting a united front, but are they unified? That's my next question. Are they unified over their response? Are they able to keep it together? The Tower would suggest not, but let's just look. They're business people. At the end of the day, they want to preserve their own wealth. Right, so looking outward, the world or power in their hands, they want to present a situation that can continue. They want to somehow, hearts and minds of the American people with the Queen card, maybe they're going to play on that. But this is suggesting to me that they want business as usual. They want the economic returns of staying in power. So will they stay unified? At least for a while. Bear in mind the Tower is hovering over them. So, my next question. Will some Republicans come up in this next wave of indictments? This is a key question. I'm going to give it a good shuffle. Are there going to be some key GOP players in this next round of indictments following the report? Ooh. The card of hard work or martyrs. They could look to this as a form of martyrdom. If the party goes ahead and basically belittles the Department of Justice and belittles Mueller and basically accept Trump's line that he's always said it's really a witch hunt, if 1 or 2 or 6 of them are actually indicted, they could be seen as martyrs by the party. Oh, don't like that. Okay, so let's try and get a bit of a short-term, long-term outcome going here. In the short term, which to me means 1 to 3 months, expected outcome for the GOP. Suspended, so, you know, they'll still be in. The party won't dissolve overnight. They'll still be in, probably doing their bit to defend their martyrs, hanging in, not making the decisions that need to be made, hanging in. Further out, how is this going to play out for the GOP between now and the end of 2019? Now and the end of 2019. Oh, how weird. They're looking for the harvest. Can they afford to lose the martyrs and still go ahead in their minds and win the 2020 election, right? You know, it's that sort of thinking. They can't believe that it's going to be totally catastrophic. They can't believe that, no matter how blatant the evidence is. So they're going to absorb the punches and see if they've done enough to keep the party functioning. Okay, so that's what they're going to do. So now my question is, will it be enough? Will it be enough? Will it be enough to keep not just the MAGA supporters, but the die-hard, cradle-to-grave Republican supporters who've been there forever? Will they do enough that people will, their own base still, their base, not Trump's base, still vote for them? So they're hoping they've done enough, but have they done enough? So I guess the question is, will long-term Republicans accept it? Accept what the party does? Or their hearts will be broken. their hearts will be broken. That doesn't fill me with joy, and satisfaction, I have to say. But that's right next door to the tower. I think, here's what I think. I think the report will come out. They'll fight it. They'll want to redact lots of it. William Barr will, try and keep bits of it undercover, but some of it will be released, etc., etc. But this was, I think, a really important angle on all this. A lot of die-hard Republicans will see that their party actually is not able to deliver what they always promised in terms of the national narrative. Americans are bright and innovative and cutting edge and taking the world, when in fact they're not listening to scientists anymore, and the natural disasters are not being met with any innovative solution. Green jobs are not being created under the Republican watch. It's business as usual. But they sense with the broken heart, these are the cards of commerce, that the party can't actually deliver it to them. That's interesting. All right. Now, sorry, someone just came to the door. Sorry, my last question for this reading, I think, is, will Mueller's report contain stuff about Russian infiltration of the NRA? And that's important because so many Republican senators and representatives have NRA money. Now, to be fair, you'd have to say there'd be those who took NRA money happily but genuinely didn't realise they were taking Russian money. And equally, you'd have to think there are those who did know because they were part of it. The Maria Butina thing. And her lover, Paul Erickson, has been done with, crooked dealings, running retirement villages and ripping people off. I mean, God, they're disgusting. Some of these are absolutely disgusting people, are they not, viewers? So, will Mueller's report contain recommendations for charges around the NRA and the NRA leadership? Because they'd have to be 94.5% Republican, wouldn't they, really? Maybe not. Maybe I'm misreading that from Australia. But I want to know if the Mueller report contains recommendations for indictment for NRA leadership. NRA leadership. Mueller. NRA leadership. Okay. Deals being made. King of Wands. Oh, okay. The answer, I think, is yes, because the spy in the camp, I think he's got the information via Maria Butina. Okay, the lovers, literally Maria Butina and Erickson, but also deals, okay? Deals between Russia and GOP members, the NRA in bed together. Remember those 12 GOP lawmakers who went to Russia? Now, I know, you know, anybody knows that if you go to Russia as part of an official delegation, you are going to have people watching and listening to everything you do. I think that's where Lindsay, Queen of Swords, Graham got himself into trouble. but I haven't read on that specifically. So back to this reading, which is, will there be indictments recommended by Mueller for the NRA leadership? Okay, so these are the deals. King of Wands coming through. That could be Mueller. It could be other investigators who handled this particular aspect of the investigation. I don't know how hands-on Mueller was with the NRA stuff, so it could be Mueller or could be someone else of considerable power and influence and clout, the staff of power. The Page of Pentacles, it's a mixed card. This is the messages about money coming through. And another page, more messages about communications and cyber communications. This is about money, money, money. This is where I think they'll be brought undone. The cyber communications, the spy in the camp. This is a young figure, but it can be symbolic. It can be symbolic of the naivety, perhaps, of certain GOP delegates or NRA delegates. You see the sword's too big, it goes off the card. What they started to do was too big for them. They couldn't literally handle it. They were caught in it. So if you asked me in a coffee shop, do you think that the NRA leadership should be worried? I would say yes. So look, conserve your energy, use your energy wisely, my darling viewers. We're in it for a while yet. We are so in it for a while yet. And I notice people are getting back to me with the names of organisations that are doing a brilliant job in trying to make voter registration easier and helping people get registered and working on the corruption of the third world electoral system that has passed as democracy in the United States since the Second World War. It's got to be dealt with, root and branch. It's got to all be examined and dealt with, and people are doing amazing work in that too. So look after yourselves, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. Try and stay away from people who stress you out. Do something good for yourself every day. Keep dancing. Bye. Ciao for now.